In the hollow where the shadows fall, we gather round, we hear the call. Liquid fire from the mountain's hand burns like truth, but it tastes like sand. Oh, it sure feels right at the end of the day. Drink it up, let the story stay. The creek laughs low, the fire cracks loud. We lose ourselves in a moonlit crowd. So thick it hums and sings, a slow dance wrapped in unseen strings, clear as glass, but it bites like a snake, sharp and cold, every breath we take. Oh, the stars know our sins tonight. Let that burn till the world spins right. The creek laughs low, the fire cracks loud. We lose ourselves in a moonlit crowd. Secrets deep, the kind you tell.
Yep, I'm muted, sorry. One of those days, you know, yeah? I'm sure you know them well. Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day, if you're into that. Good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Well, joining me so far. I've had no shows. So I thought I'd kill some time, and because I couldn't postpone it any bloody longer. So I thought I'd do a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, and hopefully I get a response back from the sleepyheads. Good morning, sweetheart. Thank you for joining us. We've got 7 eager people here waiting, wanting to see Tya and Brandy, and they got to put up with me. Oops. All right, got me a cup of tea. I'm G to G. So let's spill the tea, shall we? So as you know, Lee from the Devil's Advocates has interviewed the girls, and he's taking on the case as one of his main. He takes on 5 cases at a time that he presents on his channel, and he has a panel of 5 people, if you haven't been over there before. But yeah, there's a panel of 5 or 6, and 3 of those have their own channels that streams to as well. So it's a really broad audience that the message can get out to, which is fantastic for the girls. They're a really, really good fit for Tya and Brandy. They're not into putting down other creators, bullshit, clickbait, none of that shit. They actually go and investigate it themselves, and they only report on pretty much the facts, like what they've got from court documents, filings, proceedings, witness statements, whatever. So Lee has actually been boots on the ground out to Letcher County earlier on this week and met up with Tya and spent quite a few hours out there with her, talking about what their plan of attack is basically and where to start. And then he went into the Kentucky Sheriff's Office. He was pretty much stonewalled there. Went into the courthouse, took some. He had his body camera on him and walked through the courthouse and straight into the room where Judge Mullins was allegedly shot. So I can't wait to see all that footage and how he puts it all together. But he's also taken a lot of information on missing persons and people that have become unalived under suspicious circumstances. So he's got a lot of information there, and he went back and dug up as much as he could as well while he was there. So things are happening. Things are churning over. I don't know when the next episode, sequel, whatever it will be, but stay tuned because they're on it. Don't you worry about that. I need to do actually a catch up with him when he gets back on Monday. But yeah, that's what's in the works there. So that's going to be really exciting. He's digging into particularly, I think, because Tya's lost quite a lot of people in her inner circle. So she's lost 2 ex-husbands, both suspiciously, and her best friend Lexi, as well as others. I mean, there's Jen as well, Jen Hill. I think he's looking into that one as well. And Tya had all the autopsy reports, toxicologies, statements and what have you for them, and none of it matches up to what has been put in black and white, basically. So he's going to dig deeper. He's got quite a few. Hello, Jen. How you going? Got quite a few contacts and stuff. So he's a really good one to get to the bottom of shit, which is awesome. You might finally actually get some answers. There's been, that's what I wanted to do. Right, hang on. Oh, that's something. Yes. All right. So this week, apparently the local paper has tried to do a smear campaign on Miss Adams. Let me just save that. Sorry. Oh. Where was it? Board? No. Come on, where? So just save it there, and then move it from there. Sorry, bear with me. Let's go to Mr. Google Drive. Thank you. Yes. On there. Just put it there for now. Save here. Okay. Okay, that should be on my drive now. Yes, so I've got Ty sent me the articles. I haven't read them yet, unfortunately. I've been on the phone. I spent most of the afternoon on the phone to her, and then I had to had some issues that I had to deal with my mum, unfortunately. So that took up most of the day, and then headed over to Miss Tanya's place to sort out some merch. Did absolutely sweat FA there. Let her poor Tanya's working her fingers to the bone. So you're a legend, Tan. Where did I put it now? Come on, Jodie, get your head together. Heritage, Appalachian Heritage. That's where I put it. There. Found you. You can't hide from me, lassie. All right, let's share this instead. Yeah. I'm not sure what order they're in, so let's have a look. Oh, geez. Okay, I think this is the first one. Can you see that? I'll read it out anyway. All right, so this is the Mountain Eagle. The Mountain Eagle is publishing this story because unverified allegations circulating on social media have raised serious questions within our community about events connected to the Letcher County Courthouse and the killing of District Judge Kevin R. Mullins. The judge at the centre of these rumours is deceased and cannot respond. Really? Fuck. I mean, they have to be pretty clever to get that one. Really? Gee, I wouldn't have picked that up at all. For that reason, we have taken care to clearly distinguish between documented facts, personal opinions, and unproven claims, and we have sought comment from those named. Readers are encouraged to approach all information, especially that encountered online, with caution and critical judgment. Well, I agree. I fucking agree with that. Okay, a former inmate of the Letcher County Jail says revenge, attention, and money are motivating the spread of rumours and unverified allegations of sexual abuse connected to the Letcher County Courthouse. Ooh, really? Okay. She has also provided an audio recording to the Mountain Eagle that she says reflects the motivations of people spreading those allegations. Letcher County Judge Kevin R. Mullins was shot to death in his chambers by then allegedly Sheriff Sean Mickey Steins on September 19th, 2024. The shooting occurred shortly after a deposition given by Steins in a lawsuit whose core allegation is that Mullins' bailiff entered the courthouse after hours and had sex with a woman who had been released on bond with electronic monitoring. Well, that's a bit dulled down, isn't it? While the lawsuit contains no allegation that Mullins was involved, the timing of Steins' deposition and the killing fueled online rumours and accusations against the judge. Rumours. The salacious nature of the lawsuit, combined with the killing of a judge by the official charged with protecting him, triggered intense speculation across social media, true crime podcasts, video blogs, and tabloid television. No criminal charge, civil claim, or sworn testimony has accused Mullins of sexual misconduct. Not yet, it hasn't. No. The fact that Mullins is dead and cannot defend himself, well, even that is debatable, I reckon. That's debatable. I didn't see any blood spatter. None. I didn't see a security guard walk past and get shocked by a dead body with 9 holes in him either. I saw him holster his weapon and keep walking. But hey, the fact that Mullins is dead and cannot defend himself does not sit well with Randy Holbrook. Oh, Randy. Poor Randy. In and out of juvenile court, Holbrook transitioned to adult court when she came of age and eventually spent 52 months in prison for a felony conviction of promoting contraband after being found in possession of methamphetamine while in jail. Now 31 years old, married, sober, and living in Alabama, Holbrook said she still has deep roots in Letcher County. I bet she does. She's been defending the late judge on social media and agreed to speak with the newspaper about why. Oh, come on, tell me there's more. Okay, lucky. About why she has taken a position opposite that of former inmates with whom she spent years in jail and prison. Holbrook, who was an honours student and athlete during her high school years, said she stepped forward because she knows what it's like to be falsely accused of a sex crime and believes such behaviour would have been completely out of character for Mullins. Really? Wonder how much she's getting paid for that. Come on, that's it. I've been dealing with him since I was 15 or 16. Really? I remember someone else who was dealing with him at 16. Dealing with? Yeah, clean yourself up. And you're telling me that he didn't? Yeah, okay, whatever. Hang on 1 second. Where is it? There we go. Yep. That's what I'm calling. And I have a new little thing that I put up here. You ready for it? Ready?
22-year-old mama's boy. Well, your mama's not here to take care of you now, boy.
I love Bruce Rivers. Your mama's not here to take care of you now, boy. Sorry, I had to lighten that one. Oh dear. Okay, let's get on with this BS. Yes, I've been dealing with him since I was 15 or 16 years old in truancy court, and he was always good to me. Sure he was. He probably provided me with lots of cocaine. Got you out of trouble. Yep. He was never out of the way with me. And I do have a little rough history with drugs and things. Okay, righto. That rough history reached its lowest point, Holbrook said, when she was charged by a Kentucky State Police trooper with sexually abusing a fellow inmate while she was incarcerated in the Letcher County Jail. Police alleged... I think I can see that last line. Police alleged Holbrook attempted to retrieve drugs hidden in another woman's intimate body parts. Okay, yeah. With a searcheroonie. Hey? Oh, fuck. Oh, crap. Oh, maybe that's a clearer picture of it. Is it? Hang on. Oh, yes, it is. Cool. Okay. All right. So, okay. Police alleged the Letcher County. Police alleged that the Holbrook attempted to retrieve drugs hidden in another intimate body cavity. A claim she adamantly denies. She said a cellmate pressured her to do it, but she refused. The charge was later reduced to a misdemeanor, 4th-degree assault, but not before her indictment on the sex abuse charge appeared in a front-page story in the Mountain Eagle. Holbrook maintains that she was innocent and said the charge damaged her reputation more than the drugs ever did. She said she moved out of state after her release because of embarrassment and stigma. Because of that experience, she said she understands how Mullins' family and others connected to the courthouse may feel about the rumours now circulating online. Holbrook said that she also respected former Sheriff Sean Mickey Steins, but was horrified by video showing him shooting Mullins in the judge's chambers. Murder is murder, she said. She said she is particularly troubled by allegations being spread online by Tya Adams, with whom Holbrook spent approximately 5 years in jail and state prison with. Holbrook said Adams told her she never had sex with Mullins. Really?
Bullshit. Bullshit.
But she did have sex with another man whose first name Adams used in conversation. Holbrook said she believes the man was an attorney who represented Adams but provided no documentation to support that belief. Oh, what? Did she want him to sign a confession? Please, can you just sign this? Because, you know, what you just did? Yeah? No. Holbrook said she believes Adams would have told her. She would have told her, was she? If she had ever been involved with Mullins, as Adam now claims she was beginning at age 16. Now claims or always claimed? I don't know if Kevin was always moral in his career, but I know he was a good judge. Holbrook said he was fair. He put a lot of kids back on the right track, and he put a lot of kids back. He put a lot of kids back into fucking drug court so he could make money off them. That's what he did. Oh, I'm gonna have to go to the other copy to read the top bit of that. All right. Holbrook said she believes people spreading the allegations are motivated by the belief that sensational claims can generate attention and income online. Now, that is fucking bullshit. That right there is fucking bullshit. I can actually tell you that between the both of us, both channels, mine and Tyre's, the income from this has been under $200 for both of us combined. It ain't about the fucking money. She said she has heard former acquaintances say as much, and that some have attempted to recruit her to participate. What? Okay. She also said Adams attempted to persuade her to share stories about the judge and jail employees, but she refused. Yeah, well, Tya has been putting it out there to get people to come forward and speak. Holbrook supplied screenshots of text messages that appear to show exchanges between her and Adams. That's what Tya is doing, Holbrook said. She's trying to make it go viral and make money on YouTube. No, she's trying to make it go viral and let everyone know how fucked up Letcher County is. Simple as that. That's all right. That'll all come out when Lee's boots on the ground expose is released. I believe in Karma Man, and it's going to come back on them. Well, I believe in Karma Man too, and yeah, it's kind of come back on someone. That's for sure. YouTube allows users to earn money by attracting viewers to their videos. When a channel becomes popular, YouTube places advertising on their videos and pays the creator a share of the revenue. Now, hang on a second, Randy. Randy, did someone pay you for this article? Did they? I bet you they fucking did. Hands down. Additional income can come from donations or paid subscriptions. Well, fuck me. Oh. Jesus Christ. Really? Really? Oh, I feel so dirty. Oh dear. Videos that draw strong emotional reactions often get more views. What, you mean the truth? Which can create incentives to exaggerate or spread unverified information. Well, yes, there are creators out there that are completely sensationalized clickbait bullshit. You just need to be a connoisseur of who you actually get your information from. The horse's mouth is generally the best. When asked whether she could substantiate her claims about motivation, Holbrook provided a screen recording from her phone messaging application. The recording shows a conversation with Tya, identified at the top of the screen. The profanity-laced recording, good on ya, which has been heavily redacted, does not reference Judge Mullins by name and does not constitute proof of any specific allegation. A portion of the recording is transcribed below. Woohoo! Yay! I'm not going to redact it either, so fuck them, Randy. Fuck every one of them motherfuckers in that GD courthouse. They stole our fucking lives from us. They stole our children and they imprisoned us for no fucking reason. I am so fucking fed up with them, and it's finally time for us to get paid for all that BS they put us through. Yep, that sounds like Tya. Good luck to her. Reached for comment Monday. Adams says she wasn't talking about real money when she said that she and other women who have served time in the county jail deserve to get paid. Adams said she was instead talking about the need for law enforcement officers, court officials, and state social workers to be held accountable for the wrongdoing that she believed they had done to her and other women who were jailed for other offences. Let me go back to that other copy. Memento. Okay. That's it. Yep. Okay. I don't want to get paid, Adam said. I just want my children and I want my freedom. That's all I've ever wanted. And do you know what? I've got a really, really, really good outcome from that. From this article, Tya's second daughter, Sadie, reached out to her and they are now back in contact and like thick as thieves. So, yeah. Her daughter saw this in the paper. So, yeah. Something really, really good has come out of it. Oh, I've got goosebumps again. Adams, who co-hosts a YouTube channel called Appalachian Dreams, Appalachian Dreamers, dickheads, and thanks for the plug, is the mother of 4 children, 3 of whom she is not allowed to know. That's not correct. She is allowed to have contact with them, but they were adopted out while she was incarcerated for a crime she didn't commit. She says she is on court-ordered probation until 2099, unless she pays off the child support obligation before then. Now, we've actually been looking into that behind the scenes and trying to do some calculations in there, and the child support law or legislation is it's not very clear, and it's actually a lot of it's left up to interpretation and decision by the family court judge. Now, the family court judge at that time was Mr. Mullins. Okay, and it's got the ability to be able to reduce the child support to a basic minimum. So the minimum, I think, was $60 a week from the like, regardless of whether you're working or not. Like, there was a basic minimum, but you also had the option of whether or not you could choose to have, it's like 12% interest applied. and that's applied per. So what happens in child support? If you miss one payment, that is deemed as one judgment. So every judgment that you miss or accrue adds up. So each one then gets the additional 12% added to it. Does that make sense? So every time it adds up. And what they did in Tya's case was they actually doubled her child support while she was incarcerated and added the interest on top. And she came out, even though she was still paying every fortnight her amount, she came out owing more than she did before she went in. So they had the option of being able to not add that 12% interest, but they chose not to. And they also charged her for when she had the children, or that particular child, in full custody for 2 years. She was still paying the state child support. And there's another thing too. I can't remember what it was, but the law says that she must pay that child support until that child is 31 years of age. 31. And she is still paying it, but she cannot find where that child support money is going. It's not going to her daughter. It's not going to her daughter's adoptive parents. They have no idea where that money is going to. So, yeah. All right. Co-hosts, there are 3 of whom she's there. All I'm fighting for is my kids, she said, and someone is going to have to be held accountable. Holbrook recalled encountering Mullins at gas stations and grocery stores prior to his death. She said he spoke openly about his faith. Ah, he's a saint. And consistently encouraged her to get off drugs. Mullins was also the judge who referred her case to the Letcher County grand jury, which later indicted her on a felony drug charge that resulted in a 5-year prison sentence. Even though he was a judge and had to send me upstairs to circuit court, he did what he had to do, she said. He treated me like a human. When I saw him outside the courthouse, he always told me I could do better. I don't believe the stories about Judge Mullins, but I can't say they're impossible, she added. From my experience, there's no way. Holbrook was candid about her negative opinion of the Letcher County Jail during her incarceration, but said she was not housed there during the tenures of retired jailer Bert Sloan or current jailer Brian Sloan. She said she was incarcerated earlier during the period when some former inmates, now alleged deputy jailers and courthouse officials, took sexual liberties with them. Holbrook said she never witnessed page 8. Okay, I've already got page 8. Come on. Is that it? Nope, it's page 1. So you could have screenshot these in order. What's that? No. Ah. Oh. I can't read that. Oops. Poop. What's that? Topic. Oh. This is page 8. Oh, look it is. Oh, this is Sarah. All right, let's read the bottom bit first. She said a room some former inmates claim was used for sexual encounters was instead filled with inmates' personal belongings and would not have had space for such activity. Okay. You never bent over. She also said hallway cameras would have made it difficult for an inmate to be taken into a room alone without being seen. Oh my God. Really? Holbrook also spoke positively about former jail employees Ben Fields and his wife Angie. Though she acknowledged Fields pleaded guilty to third-degree rape of the woman who is suing him. Distancing much. She is a person called Sabrina who's got to kick your ass when she goes to court on the 3rd of March. Just you wait, Henry Higgins. Just you wait. It's a shitty jail. There were wires hanging out of ceilings. Holbrook said she added that most jail employees treated her well. She recounted overdosing while incarcerated after ingesting drugs she said were smuggled in by a deputy jailer who was later fired. Ooh. And she treated me like a daughter. Holbrook said, she held me and she cried. Oh. In a related matter, the Mountain Eagles obtained a text message sent from a Central Kentucky phone number to former county jail inmates, apparently seeking information related to criminal charges that remain active. The sender of the message has not been positively identified, but the number also appears on cards some former inmates and others say they have received. Whoa, that's news. The message states, there is $2,000 to be paid for some specific information. Call me when you get a chance. No recording, no BS. I promise. Oh, that'd be nice. Can I have... I want their number. Holbrook said she had not seen the text message or the cards, but cautioned that such an offer could easily prompt false statements. If somebody offered $2,000, especially to someone who's a drug addict, they would instantly say whatever the person wanted to hear. Well, that pretty much sums up that whole fucking article to me, really, doesn't it? In a nutshell. Right there. All right, let's see what they're going to say about Sarah. In recent months, claims made by a former Letcher County jail inmate, Tya Adams, have been featured on several online video programs, primarily on YouTube. I wonder if they've been watching us. Have they? They've been watching. They better fucking subscribe to tell you. Ain't doing that shit for free. Particularly on video programs on YouTube and other social media platforms. Well, no. No. These programs are generally produced by independent creators and are not affiliated with local newspapers or traditional broadcast news outlets. Hey, and there's a reason there's a reason for that, because you fucking lie. That's why. One appearance was on Banfield. They must be talking about Hillbilly. A nationally syndicated television program that also posts segments online. In that interview, Adams described her allegations in a personal narrative format. The segment focused heavily on her account and emotions with limited discussion of corroborating evidence or opposing viewpoints. What, were you going to interview Kevin Mullins? Adams' claims have also been featured on a number of independent YouTube channels focused on true crime and come on, name us. Come on. Give us a plug at least. True crime and scandal-based commentary. Oh, it's scandalous. Oh, I love a good scandal. These videos often use dramatic titles such as bombshells, and you accuser. Okay, you want to go back through my fucking titles? I don't think I've ever used any of those things. And present Adam's statements largely at face value. In several cases, the videos mix verified facts, such as the killing of Letcher County District Judge Kevin R. Mullins, with unproven allegations and speculation. Some of these programs frame the story as part of a broader conspiracy or systemic abuse narrative involving the local court system. Well, fuck me. Well, did they stumble onto something? It's a conspiracy. We're here to frame Letcher County Courthouse because we got nothing better to do. Fucking hell. Others focus on the potential for civil lawsuits or criminal wrongdoing, even though no allegation has been made against Mullins in any court filing. Now, I wonder what they're talking about. It's just like focus on the potential for civil lawsuits or criminal wrongdoing. Tya hasn't spoken to anybody else other than Devil's Advocate and me. So I don't know where they're getting that from. Media analysts note that such videos can attract large audiences. Oh, well, we've got how many? We've got 7 in the house, so yeah, you're onto something. Because of their emotional and sensational content. On platforms like YouTube, higher viewership can translate into advertising revenue. Donations. I just can't. I can't. Or paid subscriptions. Yep. Okay, you can stop now. Oh. I wasn't. All right. Okay. Where are we? Paid subscriptions for the creators, creating incentives to emphasize shocking or controversial claims. At this point, there is no proof whether claims made by Adams and others charging that serious crimes were committed by Letcher County officials are true or false. No, but they're certainly coming. If they are true, then consequences should be paid by the offending parties. Absolutely. If they are false, then consequences must be paid by national tabloid-style TV and online programs who repeated the claims without bothering to verify them. Yep. Good with that too. Got no issues there. Now, she did say she sent me her text message responses, but no, that's all about. Okay. All right, I'm going to have to look at. Look back at. Oh, where's my phone? Where'd you go? Oh, there it is. Stop looking. Found it. Oh, I think I've got a message from Miss Brandy. Yeah, I just woke up. Morning sunshine. Okay. Tya. No, she hasn't been up yet. Let me see if she sent me those messages. Oh, here we go. This is on Facebook. All right, let's go to Facebook or my Facebook and go from there. because she actually responded to that article. Brandy's getting a coffee and getting a shit together, and she'll be on shortly. All right, come on, come on. Okay. Share this tab instead. Yeah, let's find out. Yeah. This. Yeah. Oh, the fuck? You know who that is, Peeps, don't you? Who's that right there? It's Mr. Michael Clark. Wow. Okay. We have a squiz?
Chocolate, strawberries, or whatever you might. Saturday morning. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Get ready to go in the gym and work out. But listen, 1 John 4:19 says, we love because he first loved us. Before you text your boo or make a Facebook post or get chocolate candy or chocolate strawberries or whatever you might do, you just remember God loved you first. True love isn't found on February 14th. It's found in John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whomsoever shall believeth on him.
Oh, shut up. All right. Okay, here we go. Mountain Eagle. I believe I need to open that one. I think this is where I'm supposed to be. Soon find out. Several stories of importance to local readers are in this week's Mountain Eagle, which will be out tomorrow morning. Oh. Okay. I can't see any response from Tya there, so maybe I'm the wrong bit. Maybe that's just the ad for tomorrow. Come on, where are you? Actually, how about I just search for Tya? That might be better. Shows you how much I get on bloody Facebook, hey? There we go. That's the one. So her comment is, thank you for providing everything about the jail that is true. To send a convicted rapist to try to discredit a victim is disgusting behaviour. Randy Phillips, anytime you violate another human's body without consent and put your fingers inside a woman looking for dope is rape. You are a convicted rapist. You have not falsely accused. You did that, and you were rightly convicted of sexual assault. I guess predators will always defend predators. No wonder you wanted to erect a statue to honour Kevin Mullins. Oh, really? Just because you liked it doesn't mean everybody liked it. Haha, he kept you from getting 20 years for PREA, which is the prevention of rape and something assault, something like that. Can't remember what the synonym stands for, but it's that. So there you go. She's benefited from Mullins because she got off a 20-year sentence. If that's why you and 2 other girls jumped me in jail and got 10 days for it, did he have you beat me to silence me, Randy? Or is that why you didn't have to register? Also, thanks for recording my righteous indignation about the systems that failed my family. I am allowed to be angry. I'm allowed to speak my truth. and will continue to do so repeatedly and loudly. Article about her sexual abuse charges in comments. Okay, let's have a look. Oh dear. All right. Oh, these are really good too. Tya does videograms. I think they're $15. And oh, man, they're amazing. So she just sends you a it's like a reading type of thing, and she sends it to you as a personalized video, and it was absolutely spot on. Okay, so what's this? Right. This is Miss Randy Phillips. Lovely. Others indicted by the grand jury are Randy Phillips, 23, is charged with first-degree complicity to sexual abuse and being a persistent felony offender. Randy. Shouldn't be so Randy. Brandy, I am struggling to find the right words to express the anger, heartbreak, and disgust I felt reading your recent coverage. Not just because of the subject matter, but because of the way voices were chosen and platformed in a story involving victims who have already suffered enough. You are not just reporting words on paper, you are shaping public perception in a small mountain community where reputation, safety, and healing can live or die based on what gets printed. My friend is not a headline. She is not gossip. She is not something to be torn apart in public opinion while already carrying the weight of trauma most people could never imagine surviving. She is a human being who deserves dignity, fairness, and the basic decency of not being publicly undermined by individuals whose credibility has already been called into serious question through documented criminal proceedings and allegations. Do you understand what it feels like for victims to read coverage that appears to give a platform to voices that can intimidate, discredit, or silence them? Do you understand how terrifying it already is for someone to speak out when they are in a system where they have no power, no protection, and often no voice? Victims inside jails are among the most vulnerable people in our entire justice system. They depend on truth, accountability, and outside protection because they cannot simply walk away from danger. When their stories are met with public doubt fueled by who is given the microphone, it sends a chilling message to every other victim watching. That's fucking true. Stay quiet or risk being publicly dismantled, or worse. It is not just about my friend. This is about every victim who wonders if anyone will ever believe them. Fuck me, that's it known for me today too. It is about every survivor who already carries shame that does not belong to them. It is about whether journalism in our community will stand as long as a light for truth or become another shadow victims have to fight through. Mountain people are taught to protect one another, especially those who are hurting and vulnerable. We are taught that silence in the face of wrongdoing is complicity. That is why this hurts so deeply, because this feels like protection and more like public trial by narrative. Sorry, because this feels less like protection and more like public trial by narrative. You have influence, you have reach, and with that comes responsibility. Fucking oath it does. I am asking you, not as an enemy, but as someone watching victims fight to survive, to reflect on the human cost of how these stories are told and whose voices are elevated in the telling of them. Because while articles fade, victims live with the consequences forever. Suck, Brandy. This woman. She hits the spot, doesn't she? That one's getting saved. Actually, I've been saving most of her writings because she's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Hang on, let me just need a breather for that one. Let me just save this. Ooh, where'd I go? Yeah. Oh, I was on Facebook. Oops. Go back. Where the fuck did that go? Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. What was the comments after that? Jill Greenman's Dober. Probably completely balls that name up. I apologise, but stay strong. Your voice matters to so many. Many that don't have the strength to come forward are cheering you on in their silence. Yes, they are. Hopefully they find their strength to join you in the loud voice. Until then, continue to be the strong voice you are for so many. Those that try to silence survivors are a huge part of the problem. Those who did not partake in the activity themselves, but protect those who have done so, are just as guilty as the person that did partake. Rhonda Justice says, here in Pike County, Kentucky, they say you ask for it when you get your insides ripped open and bleeding for days after the assault. Totally agree with any person that violates another in any fashion, and people who know about it or prostituting by having you raped after knocking you out should have a bullet between their eyes, not full protection from police and courts. I don't care what position you are in. Jessica Hicks says, this woman is the same one that mocked me on one of my posts. She called me crazy and pretty much defended Kevin Mullins, the state trooper David Banks, and the jail staff that treated me like trash at the jail for no other reason other than to psychologically break me into keeping my mouth shut. She isn't a nice person. People need to start fully comprehending what day and times we are in, because karma is such a bitch. If they want to defend and protect the wrong and attack the innocent, then they can sit with that backlash of doing so. Amanda Duty says, I just have a question. Is hillbilly crime, and the girl mentioned here saying that there wasn't any truth to all the allegations against Kevin Mullins, and Tya Adams was asking her to lie? I keep seeing this stuff and I'm just trying to understand. See the responses to that. Tya said something like that. Basically, I'm just a lying drug head prostitute, and Kevin Mullins is a good man, and so is Ben Fields and Hillbilly. Amanda Judy, Hillbilly claims Tya asked her to lie. Never. Oh, Hillbilly claims that Tya asked her to lie. Tya said, you should go back to the beginning and watch and count how many lies she's told on her own. Yeah. Okay, Susan Mullins Bartley. Okay, they're familiar. I'm glad that you are doing what you need to so that others aren't going to be in the same situation as you. I wonder if she's... That's really a conundrum there, because Mullins is Kevin Mullins and Bartley is Mickey's attorney. Okay. Jessica, I hear what you were saying about protecting victims, and I agree. Survivors should never be silenced or publicly discredited. That's exactly why it's important to recognise what really happened here. Some people, like Randy, have spent years mocking, belittling, gaslighting, and calling people crazy, or do other name-calling, all while defending a corrupt system and people like Kevin Mullins. Some think they are untouchable, morally superior, or that their networks protect them. But times like these are not for games, lies, or trying to twist the truth. Karma is real and it never forgets. Targeting protected souls, spreading deception, or trying to silence truth tellers will only expose the chaos that they have caused and the damage that they have done. It isn't about public perception. It's about accountability, alignment, and the undeniable reality that truth always finds a way. People who try to manipulate, intimidate, or gaslight others only dig themselves deeper. Voices that speak truth cannot be stopped, and those who have spent years attacking, mocking, or defending corruption will eventually face the consequences of the chaos they've created. Maybe Brandy will finally learn her lesson. Project lies and attack onto truth tellers, or try to silence those brave enough to stand against corruption. And the unseen forces far greater than themselves will always find a way to reveal the truth, the true nature of who they really are. How much did Holbrook get paid to defend the courthouse? There you go. That's what I said. She's out of the state and nobody's eyes are on her, and she's spending. Not credible at all. Tim Huff says, piece of shit for sure. Weak need. I'm thinking that's whore. Said it'll never leave their minds. Terrible trauma. Rita Goodman. Yeah, her. You're right, Tyre. Predators will protect their own. Angela Caldwell. Hey, girl. See your messenger and think about. Okay. Are you telling her to stop talking? No, she sent me an article on something related to something else. Okay. This definitely is wrong. What the fuck? Very wrong. Dave Slavinsky. So happy some justice is coming your way. Tamara McKinley. Of course she will protect the name of someone she had sexual interactions with. Ashley Morford. Ignore the haters, Tyre. Keep up what you're doing and keep your head up. You're the most intelligent human I know, and people hate you for it. They can't be on your level and it kills them, so stay strong. Your friend always. Oh, that's nice. And Mossy McLean. Oh, it's tagged Hillbilly Crime in it. So why can't I go any lower than that? View hidden comments. Ooh, hidden comments. What's this? What's this? Oh, Randy Holbrook. Guess I'm going to hell then, since all them scriptures you posted must mean that. Laugh my ass off. And can I just say, people aren't talking about putting up a statue. I am one person that said I would. And aren't you the girl that said they violated your rights when they searched you when you got arrested? And also said they kidnapped you when they arrested you. Girl, you're for real loony as fuck. What the fuck is this shithead talking about? Jessica, oh Lord. Some people are drawn to defending predators not because they're morally correct, but because their psychology thrives on control, fear, and false superiority. All right, I'll let you read all that. This is disgusting and unacceptable. Randy Mullins, nothing but hearsay from people you can't trust. Donna Clark, yeah, karma truck waiting. Oh, it's last year. Righto. Well, I'm sorry. I've completely fucking ignored chat. So let's go through the chat, shall we? Sorry, my bad. Someone say cocaine. Hey, Brian, how you going? Oh, yeah, look. Yeah, the smear campaign has begun. I can't follow the details of this story. I feel like I missed episode 2, which is all the backstory, and now the whole season's. Well, you have to go back and watch the playlist. You've been a very naughty boy. There is so much, and yes, I'm trying to structure the catch-ups more, because we seem to jump from post to post, and I want to make sure that they cover the whole story and not just bits of it. So I've tried to structure it so that we try and do one topic at a time. And that way they get to have their whole story told without missing bits, and it's in a format that most people couldn't follow. So bear with me. And it's just that they have so much to tell and such little time to tell it. They get so excited and they just and think that everybody knows who so-and-so is that they've just mentioned, because I spend half my time going, okay, hang on, stop. How does he know her? Where does that fit in? Fill me in the blanks. I need the jigsaw fixed. So I get it. And I do try and fill in the blanks when I can. So yeah, but we're trying. There is so much. There is so much. And like, yeah, I spent 7 hours the other night with Tya and Brandy just talking about one topic, and we didn't even finish it. The stuff that they've got to tell, the stories, and then you go through and look up the legislation and, you know, do your back research with them, and it's fucked. It's really fucked. These women have been groomed from birth. I shit you not. They've been groomed from birth. They are encouraged to emancipate early. They are they have to sit for their GEDs, I think about 15. The Brandy, or it's not expected, but it's I don't even know if tradition is the right word, but like to be married off at 13 isn't unusual. Okay, Brandy was pregnant at 13 and married off to a 19-year-old. Now that to me just says, okay, we need to cover here for fucking carnal knowledge. That's it. Yeah. So what they actually sent letters to Tya's parents when she was 16 to have her emancipated from them. And Tya was put on, figure, she was put on hormone tablets. I think it was at 15. And yeah, all right, I might let her tell that story. that's probably a bit too much. But the things that they did to them, yeah, it's fucked. It's fucked. Miss Simi, why is this woman's story opposite whatever? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A murder is okay if you murder a rock spot. Uh-huh. I didn't know that rock spider is a pedophile or a turtle. Tanya, I had no idea that's what that meant. Why the fuck does rock spider mean that? I thought it was just some kind of Australian spider. I don't know. Maybe an Aussie thing. Pedos hide under rocks. Like, oh dear. What's that? Gotta go. Sergeant Bill is live. Who's Sergeant Bill? I really can't stand listening to these people back and forth, but none of them can prove anything. I want to see the trial before I believe anything. Well, a lot of it, I think, is probably going to come out with Sabrina. She's the linchpin here. Yeah. And, man, she's got some kahunas to stand up alone against this. And this is like 5 years in the making now. To have her co-defendants murdered. Yeah. So there was 4 of them, as well as Sabrina. There was Jennifer Hill. Yep. unalived. Lexi, unalived. And the fourth one was her initials are BC. And she's actually about to come forward, I think, and tell her story because she was the fourth applicant on Sabrina's filings. They found some trumped up charges and locked her away so that she couldn't testify. Plus, her mother, Christine, advised her not to because of what had happened to Jen. So they were actually talking to Tya today whilst I was on the phone with her. It was a three-way. So, yes, I believe she's at some point going to come forward and tell her story, which will be good. But it just, yeah, that she's actually wanted on a warrant at the moment for bullshit. But, yeah, she's if she heads in there, she's in danger. She can't go there. Yeah, I don't know if they'll. I've got a feeling that there's going to be a plea deal down the track. I really do. But I am really interested to hear what happens with Sabrina's case. And I believe that Brandy is going to head down there. She spoke to Sabrina. She's going to head down there and be in the courthouse with her to support. So if anyone's interested, I think a united front, especially right in their faces, would be an awesome statement to make. Yeah, I might speak to Tya about that, see if we can get some people down there. Imagine if like the courtroom's full of all these victims and they've got to get up on that stand and face them. It would be fucking amazing. All right, what else? Oh, Preacher Man, yeah. I think whoever wrote that article definitely watched the Defence Trust. Well, they could have plugged us. We've already had 3 chocolate strawberries this morning. I don't trust people that virtue signal with their religion. Don't enjoy that chocolate. You should feel like shit because of what? God. Oh, great. Happy Valentine's Day to you too. Hello, Miss Mindful BG2. Welcome. Who wrote this last article you're reading now? That was actually in the Mountain Eagle this week. Written by Scott Adams, is it? Who's the editor there? Yes. Hillbilly did not say it didn't happen. She said no one has proven it, which has been detrimental to the channel. Of course, she should have continued to support victims. What didn't happen? I don't understand. Hello. We love you too. Yes, we're still here. Let me just see if Miss Tya has woken up yet. Ted, I only spoke to her a few hours ago. Where you at? Let's call her, shall we? Wakey, wakey, hands are sneaky. Yeah. She's sleeping. Oh, who's that? Brandy. I'm pulling myself together. No problems with that. Meds and coffee haven't kicked in yet, and she hasn't heard from Ty this morning. No, I think she's, well, she was up talking to me to all hours. My apology. Probably my fault. Did Bill already go off to me? Oh, okay. That's Sergeant Bill. Oh, is that what's his name? Oh, off the cuff, is it? What was it about? Oh, there you go. Ha, I was right. Yes, for sure. Is it worth watching? What was it about, Simi? We can we might be able to just have a squeeze while we're waiting. He's the retired police officer, isn't he? It has there's two people on that, if I recall, from memory. Or maybe I'm lying. Maybe I'm full of shit. It's always possible. I try not to be, but you know. All right, now, where did I put? Oh, just a FYI, I found today that, do you remember the case that we did with Nia Harris? Over, where was she? Was it? Detroit, where Jarvis Butts was accused of her murder. Well, apparently he's taken a plea deal. Yep. He pleads guilty to her case and 5 additional cases. Should we have a look? Do you remember we had Real Talk Bougie on? Well, she did a okay, we'll do this one first. And then we'll, yes, I've been keeping an eye on it. And we can play the update once we've gone through this. Okay. So, live, was it a live stream? Or video? 5 minutes ago. Okay. That's an hour long. Share the screen. So this is about the Nancy Guthrie. It's an update. Okay. Thank you, Police Off the Cuff. Go ahead on over and like and subscribe. You just saw me do it. Like, done. Let's have a listen.
It's different. I'm a retired NYPD sergeant. I'm police off the cuff. We analyze cases the way cops and prosecutors do, what matters, what doesn't, and what the internet gets wrong. If that's the perspective you want, subscribe now, because this isn't entertainment. It's the same standard of proof to arrest someone. It's is the police to go in and get a search warrant, hit this location, obviously have a standard of proof that a judge would sign off, and they were able to do a search warrant. Now, so many questions because it's not clear. Why isn't law enforcement talking right now? And that's what everyone wants to know. Well, That's great, but how come no one's talking? And I'll tell you the reason, and this is the biggest reason. And when you hear it, it makes so much sense, is because, is Nancy Guthrie still alive? Where is she? And that's the question that everyone wants the answer to. Is she still alive? And another thing that I would like to know is these 3 individuals that are taken into custody. And there's a lot of conjecture. You can't just kidnap someone and take them into custody. If someone is taken into custody against their will, they're under arrest. And whether no one's saying that, but that is a fact, because once you take someone and move them from one location to another, they better be under arrest, or they could sue you for not having probable cause. All right. So they're under arrest. If it's determined later on that the people you remove from a search warrant, they didn't do it, then you do what's called a voided arrest report and you let them go, which happens all the time. But it's just taking someone into custody. Custody means you're not free to go. So to define it even further, you are under arrest. And another thing that no one is talking about, and I'm going to get into that, is the emergency exception to Miranda. So, whoa, what is that? Well, we're going to get into that in a second. But first, folks, hold on to your hats, hold on to your loved ones, hold on to your thoughts, hold on to your service dog. You're about to enter true crime from a police perspective. You're about to enter the off-the-cuff zone, the police off-the-cuff zone. That was in the gray vehicle, which turned out was not a truck, but was a Range Rover. So what information did they have? Did they have DNA? Did they have physical evidence? Was it just a tip or tips that was so credible that they presented those facts to a judge? No one knows that right now, because law enforcement is zipping their mouths shut right now for a good reason. And the good reason is this is an emergency, isn't it? Does anyone know where Nancy Guthrie is at this point? The answer is no. Could she still be alive? Yes. So this fits the emergency exception to Miranda. So when these folks are brought in, of course, they would interview, and it's reported there's a male and a female, and the third person is a male. They will separate them and interview them. And they, by law, if they do cite the emergency exception, they do not have to read the Miranda until the emergency is over. And that emergency would be over if we find Nancy Guthrie and we find her alive. If that's the case, and these 2 people taken into custody admit that, then we must then read the Miranda. But Nancy Guthrie could still be alive. The possibility now, it's 14 days. We're all praying, but it's not real probable. So what type of evidence did they have that gave them probable cause? And that's where, of course, everyone is begging, everyone is hoping. We need a press conference. We need to be updated. National media. No one's saying anything, are they? Everyone is sort of repeating what we've heard over the last few days. This is Fox News with their report this morning.
Not been announced from officials after a busy few days in the investigation, where earlier this week, video and photo surveillance footage was shared to the public. And we also saw that white tent there that was put up and quickly taken down outside of the residence. To break down what we do know this morning is Darren Porcher, former NYPD lieutenant, joining us live there in Tucson. Good morning to you, Darren.
Good morning, and thanks for having me as a guest.
Absolutely. Well, let's just start. There were several developments overnight there. What do we know as of this morning?
Okay, as we parse this out, we had a magistrate that signed off on a search warrant, which resulted in a successful execution, taking 3 individuals into custody. I want to say just short of 2 miles away from Nancy's house. And then we had a 4th individual that was taken into custody at a Culver's fast food restaurant that was several miles away further. We don't have any groundbreaking information that's been introduced to the public. However, this is a break in the case that can assist to allow us to extract more information to make an identification as to a possible suspect. In addition to that, trying to find out the whereabouts of Nancy Guthrie.
Now, Darren, a question I think the media has had, why have we not had a press conference? Because this seems like this could be a major development in this case. So why are officials not yet sharing more information with the public?
I'm going to answer that question right now. And the reason that they're not sharing information with the public is what I just cited before, the emergency exception. They have 2 people, 3 people taken into custody, but they do not have Nancy Guthrie. So she could still be alive. So they can't release this because the press can go on a field day. And what if there's more perpetrators involved? You want to spook them? So don't release the information yet. And Mike, I know you're an attorney, and what I cited was, and everyone's frustrated because there's not a great deal of information. What there was a search warrant last night, and everyone says SWAT and all this stuff. And the search warrant, as you know, Mike, and I'm not teaching you, I'm just reiterating what I just said before, is you need probable cause.
Right.
Well, they have to present evidence to a judge of probable cause, and then the judge signs the warrant. So obviously they have something that made them target this house that was 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's. Your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, Bill, probable cause, as you say, that's the search warrant minimum requirement. It's also the arrest warrant, the arrest minimum requirement. So therefore, the police pretty much sure that they have someone who is materially related to this case, whether or not the actual kidnapper, a helper, an accessory before the fact, an accessory after the fact. But the fact is they have enough evidence at this point to believe that they can arrest these people. What they do, we're not sure how this is going to end, but they are closing the ring around the net around the people who've committed this crime. And it's taken a while, but it's a lot of technology and a lot of hard work. But that's where they're at. They are zeroing in on this group and taking them into custody with search warrants. And as you say, the emergency exception, they do not want to hold a press conference right now. They don't want to tip anybody off. They have to move fast. That's what the emergency exception is all about.
100%, Mike. And the thing was, I also brought up before that these people taken into custody, from what I understand, and they may just err on the side of being super cautious, but you don't have to read the Miranda because there is still an emergency exception. This is the emergency exception to Miranda because we have a kidnap victim. This is a classic case, a kidnap victim who we don't know where she is, and she could still be alive. So that is the emergency. Once the emergency is over and these people are in custody, you must then read the Miranda. You can probably present that better than I can, Mike.
Oh, no, yeah, there's the emergency exception when it comes to search and seizure. And as you pointed out, there's a minute ago, there's the emergency exception to the Miranda requirement. When there is an absolute emergency and life, and is on the line and the police need to act quickly, the Supreme Court has said that there is an emergency carve out, because to sit there and talk to someone and give them Miranda and have them invoke the right to counsel may detract from the life-saving efforts in this case. She's 84 years old. Nancy Guthrie, if she is still alive, she's probably in serious shape. She needs medical and get to the help and get to the hospital. The police have to act fast. If they recover her and she is alive, the exception's over. We then go right back to the old way of doing things. But right now, this is an absolute life-saving emergency, and the police are free to act as quick as they need to in order to save life.
At 02 Barrage Girl, who first said this was an emergency exception? I did. Retired NYPD Sergeant, Detective Sergeant Bill Cannon, Manhattan North Homicide, retired. I said it is. No one else knows the law, this is the first time I've heard it, period, right? And technically, Mike, they could have enacted the search warrant without a warrant. They could have, but they want to be super careful,
right?
And they got a search warrant. So they get the search warrant, but they do the search warrant. Nancy Guthrie's not in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want to get information from the two people that you removed from that house. Separate them, bring them into custody. And that's the other thing that everyone's talking about, Mike. You can't kidnap someone and say they're just under investigation. No, they're under arrest. If you remove them from that scene and take them to a police facility, they're under arrest, right? They're not free to go. They're in custody, right? They're in custody. Mm-hmm. So people let us, again, this is erroneous material out there. Once you remove them from a location, they're not part of an investigation. They are under arrest. And if you find out after your investigation is completed that they didn't do it, then you do what's called avoided arrest and you let them go. Mike.
Yeah, Bill, the need to act quickly and to, work with or without a warrant. As you said, I am sure there's probably a Pima County judge who's probably sitting by the phone just waiting to hear requests for a search warrant or arrest warrant in this case, because they need to act fast. You can't wait 4 or 6 hours to find a judge. Everybody understands how important to getting something done quickly in this case to save life. And as you say, you've got them, you've gone into that house with or without a warrant. It still might be perfectly fine with or without a warrant. If you can err on the side of a warrant, great. But if you don't, go in there based on the emergency exception. You get those two people, you bring them to the station, they're in handcuffs, you separate them, as you say, that's the way you do it. Get them talking so they don't back up each other's lies, and the truth will come out. And if it turns out that they're not the right person, as you say, you avoid the arrest. That is not, the most uncommon thing that happens. And you say, sorry, but that's the way it goes. But there had to be a reason why we were in your house. And there has to be a reason why there's something connecting the disappearance of Nancy to your house, and you're the owner of the house. You're responsible. So, go ahead and move on. But in this case, the police have to act fast. There's no substitution, no way around it. And if they make a mistake and they get the wrong person and it turns out they're not, as involved as the police thought, that's fine. You're not going to get it right 100% of the time, but you have to act fast.
Absolutely. At Ashley Quarter 5590, they still have to keep things close to the vest. Can't give everything up to the public 100%. And the other thing is, look, if it turns out that the people who are the subjects of this warrant are not, they're not the people, they don't have probable cause, they don't have evidence that they're, then they have to let them go. But then if they are not the people that did committed this crime, the people that did are still out there. And we still have to keep the information, the investigative integrity close to the vest, as everyone keeps using that term, because Nancy Guthrie could still be alive. And that is so, so important. Let me just go back to Fox and play a little bit more of this report.
Rely, or I should say, present a level of concern to law enforcement. That was a key piece in enlisting the public. But when we speak to a press conference, I think we would have a more established line of information that we can all listen to and hear, but that hasn't happened. But we have to also bear in mind, we had a significant development overnight as it relates to this warrant. So that may be a reason why law enforcement hasn't provided us with the information.
And we also do know, Darren, that several tips have come in really since that surveillance video was put out earlier this week. Law enforcement now working through those tips. But we do have a viewer question that I wanted to ask you. And this is coming from Linda. And she's asking, do you believe the public tips is the result of these detainments?
Well, as it relates to Linda's question, it's very difficult to assess if it was a public tip, but we clearly need to have the public working in tandem with law enforcement and providing that information to try to do the best that we can to uncover these crimes. And it goes back to the public is the greatest asset in law enforcement, and this has been historically sound.
And Darren, another question that
a great question from the chat. Cindy on YouTube, at Cindy on YouTube, question: in this emergency, are the detainees allowed to have a lawyer present? No, absolutely not. That is the whole purpose of the emergency exception, is that they do not have the right to an attorney because it is an emergency. If in fact, and many people out there are very concerned with the rights of those taken into custody, as you should be, or else law enforcement would just run rampant. But you follow the law, you follow the rules, and great question. No, they do not have a right to an attorney. Mike, maybe you can answer that a little better than me.
Yeah, no, that's perfect answer. When there is an absolute emergency and someone's life is on the line and minutes count, to give someone their Miranda rights and say, okay, you can invoke counsel. We have to find you a defense attorney. That takes 2 hours to get a defense attorney, whatever happens to be. The defense attorney.
Does this update more on Nancy Guthrie, or is it more like a legal spiels?
Is the press behaving so much? The press surely had that plate number. They have investigators. They could run the plate number and actually put out there who owns that car. And usually they would do that. Is it because it's one of their own, the family of one of their own, that they're actually behaving? Because they would, in all these cases, they would put that in. How about the address of the search warrant? That's not out there, is there? Is it? And again, in the other case, the press would put that all over the place. They'll tell you who lives there. It'll be all over Facebook. I'm a little, I'm a little conspicuous. I would say it's a little conspicuous, their behavior, that they're not doing that, which of course is irresponsible, but they do that all the time. So I'm amazed that they are behaving, and maybe they're told, listen, this is an emergency exception. Do not put this stuff out there, Mike.
Yeah, and if you do interfere and you put this information out there, and the perps are alerted and they somehow escape, the FBI and the Pima County Sheriffs are going to be turning their heads, looking at that person who leaked that information. This is an emergency. You and I have been there. You, me, Phil, we've done this many times when there's this kind of investigation. Everything goes aside. This is not normal circumstances. Everything is set aside. All the standard protocols, all the relationships. No, the police have to act fast. And if you do anything as a member of the press to inadvertently alert the suspects, and they somehow, get away, or it turns out that you hinder this investigation to the point where maybe Nancy life is not saved. Your First Amendment trespass is not going to save you from a charge, a serious charge of
I wanted to say too, in the description box, I've put 2 links. What were they 2? Let me have a look. So there's in Kentucky, there is new legislation on the first one is the child support legislation and how it is calculated, if anyone's interested. And the second one is they had the child abuse. They have the wrongful conduct of law enforcement in Kentucky, as per the statute. And basically, it's analysed the pathways that you can take if you have an issue with law enforcement, basically. So it tells you what you needed, what directions you need to take, what you've got to prove, basically the whole process on how you can address any wrongful treatment from law enforcement. So you can check it out.
Obstructing governmental administration. Absolutely not.
Absolutely. Another great comment from the chat. Hey, Bill and Mike, what is your opinion about the ransom letters? That's from Kelly Ward 418. Now, my opinion is they're extraneous noise, and they have nothing to do with this case. That criminals are jumping on the bandwagon and trying to extort money. And many TV stations are just loving it because it makes them.
You guys think that the ransom notes are fake? I haven't read them. I've heard about them. I haven't really had a chance to follow much of this. I've kept hearing updates and stuff, but I haven't really dug into it. I haven't had a chance to. I'm struggling to find time to dig back into Paul Martin. There's so much to unpack in this case in Letcher County that just keeps evolving. So you all think they're lies? How many of them was there?
Relevant. And of course, they're saving face by saying, "Oh, we're giving this right to the FBI." But it's really sort of, in my opinion, and I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. I think it's extraneous nonsense, and these people are just opportunists. Mike.
Yeah, you, me, and Phil talked about this numerous times over the last week about what the relationship is between the quote unquote ransom demand, Bitcoin demands, and the actual disappearance of Nancy. And we've evolved in our thinking about this, and I think Phil also, and you, it's like it seemed in the beginning that it could have been relevant, although it was strangely done. But however, over time, we don't really believe that it is really a classic ransom note where the person actually has the kidnapped person in custody. Yeah, it's an opportunist jumping in, looking for a payday. Who knows where that person who originated that ransom demand, whatever you want to call it, they could be in Lithuania, and they might not be anywhere near the Americas. So yeah, we think it's kind of tangential and it's an opportunist.
Another great question at Zarina Dias. Who determines it's an emergency? Well, the police do, in conjunction with the district attorney. They will confer with the district attorney and say, look, we have some suspects in custody. Can we interview them without Miranda? Because we think this is an emergency situation. They're going to confer with the district attorney. If the district attorney disagrees, then they would, in fact, read Miranda. And why would that be advantageous to law enforcement to not read Miranda in a situation like this? Well, because you want to know if, in fact, these are the bad guys. You want to know if Nancy Guthrie is alive. And if you read Miranda and they invoke counsel, which means they are done talking to you, you will never find out if, in fact, she is alive and where she is. Mike.
Yeah, it's a good thing you make a quick phone call. You've done this, you make a quick phone call to the district attorney and they make that decision because they're looking at what you're doing and they're thinking about what they're going to have to do if these people are going to be prosecuted, 6 months down the line. And so they're looking at what their case is going to look like in a court of law before a jury and a judge and a defense attorney. So yeah, you make that quick call, you get that person's thumbs up, and then you go out knowing A, that you believe it's emergency, B, the prosecutor thinks it's emergency, and therefore whatever you're doing has already got prior approval. You move on this. This is all about speed. This is all about being lightning quick. And if you have that prosecutor working with you hand in hand and approving what you're doing, then you probably are going to do fine later on when this does go to court and a defense attorney gets involved later on and says, you did not Mirandize my client. They gave you information. They incriminated themselves. Your Honor, I want that thrown out and not presented to a jury. And a judge may or may not agree. But, the fact is that you stand in better stead having complied with the requirements and the demands and whatever conditions that the prosecutors set out.
Absolutely, Mike. And it's so important because, and if anyone in the chat, if it was their family member, what would they want law enforcement to do? Would they want to they are fully compliant with the letter of the law, but this is the law, and it's called the emergency exception. I'm surprised no one is talking about that. We don't know at this point whether any of these individuals have remained in custody, because there's been no press conference. There has been no further information by law enforcement. People in the chat are saying this. I don't know that they've been released. I don't know where they're getting their information from. But until that is confirmed by law enforcement, someone's saying in the chat, I produce news for 20 years. Yes, we can run place, though we do not identify who it's registered to, because who the registered owners made me different than the person detained. Yes, but I've seen the press release things and I've seen it all over Facebook when they'll say, oh, this is the person, and it's not the person, and they identify a person. So let's not act like they're that responsible. I've seen them do things like this many, many times. Oh, this car is registered to so-and-so. Look, we all could do that. You call your insurance company. Yes, I'll run this plate. We call a friend in law enforcement. And most news stations have the ability to get into DMV. They have their own investigators that do that. So, sir, I don't doubt that you were a very honest news producer, but not everyone is. And they release things that do compromise investigations. That's from my experience in law enforcement. I can tell you that. Yesterday, another big piece of evidence, of course, was the former Houston area sketch artist that drew this sketch based upon the person of interest seen in that video. And although she didn't see the whole face, she saw enough of it, and with her talent as a sketch artist came up with this. Now, surely this sketch must have resulted in a lot of phone calls coming in, a lot of people saying, oh, that's so-and-so. But so far, law enforcement hasn't said anything. They have the sketch artist on News Nation. I'm going to play it right here.
Unofficial forensic sketch of that masked suspect that was caught on Guthrie's doorbell cam. Remember, this is one of the key pieces of evidence. I say it's unofficial because it wasn't released by authorities, but this sketch was created by the retired Houston police forensic artist Lois Gibson. And Gibson says she studied the doorbell video of the person, relying on the eyes, the facial structure, what little could be seen to fill in the rest. She admits, look, she guessed at some features, stresses this is not an official law enforcement rendering. But listen to this. Gibson, the Guinness World Record holder for, quote, most successful forensic artist. And she says her renderings have helped police identify more than 1,300 criminals. Lois Gibson joins me right now. Thank you so much for coming on. It's such a pleasure. Okay, a lot of people are listening to this and saying, how'd you come up with this?
Oh, I just did what I could do by filling in the parts that were covered by the masks. That's it. I could see the eyes, the bottom of the nose, the philtrum, the top of the lip, both lips, both lips, and the general outline. And I watched the guy's body move, and I got his age. I felt like his age was about 30s, early 40s.
How did you find the hair? It's like the parts that were covered and the structure of the head. I mean, it's not the grainiest photo I've ever seen. It's not a faraway shot. It's better than we have. And there is one shot. I don't know if we can. Oh, I think we have it. Maybe we could switch it up where you kind of see the eyes and the goatee, or what appears to be facial hair. It's more significant than I've seen in other cases. But again, how did you know what the hair would look like, the ears would look like? I know you said you guessed, but how sure are you?
I didn't know. I'm doing an educated guess, but I've worked for 43 years with various grainy surveillance photos and helped find suspects. And it's an educated guess. And if I fail, I don't care. If they can just get Nancy back, I'll be fine. I'll take the hit if I'm wrong. But I think I'm right. And I've done facial reconstructions for skulls, and I had no hair, nothing. And I've got the hair right on all the skulls except for one. So I don't know. This is my business for 43 years. In this case, is a kidnapping, and kidnapping cases are insane torture for the loved ones.
I'm really glad you mentioned that, because with all this, we sometimes get lost about what we're talking about. An 84-year-old woman who has been missing for 13 days, mobility issues, needs daily medication. There was blood outside the home. This is a dire situation, and you have a family who is desperately looking for answers. And each time this case goes in a 180, and there's reports, even though it's been fought back by the sheriff's office, of a lack of cooperation between the FBI and the sheriff's office. It just adds. I just have to imagine it adds to the pain for the family. So I appreciate that. I know that you created this partially just for them and to help them in this case. Did you reach out to law enforcement? Have they reached out to you for your services?
Oh, no, I'm retired, and I didn't want to hear bureaucrats say no. I think you understand that. And I've helped get back 8 kidnapping victims. And I've been with the loved ones that are missing their kidnapped person. And it's insane torture. It's the worst torture. It's worse than a murder, because if it's a murder, it's peaceful. It's real sad, but you can have a funeral. But I've been with people, and it's insane. And it's unbearable, because every moment, every second, they're going, what's happening? Is my mama dying? Can I stop that? Can I stop that happening? But they don't even know It's insane torture. So I was so frustrated. And when you're real emotional, you draw better. So I just did the best I could. And I could see the eyes, the bottom of the nose, top of the lip, the thickness of the mustache. So I replicated that with the eye. And the mustache color I put in the eyebrows. And I put in hair because of his attitude, his body. He seemed spunky. He seemed energetic. He didn't seem down. I just didn't think he had a shaved head. I don't know. I have instincts that have paid off.
Do you know what? Do you have an idea of what ethnicity he is?
No, he could be Latino, white, Lebanese, Egyptian, New Zealand, Irish with dark skin. Like I'm Irish, I got dark skin. I don't know. No, I don't know. But I've had skull reconstructions where the skull is just crushed, and it was hundreds of bones. And I got that skull made so close that the mom recognized it. So you got to have a sixth sense to do it, and you got to be a masochist. I hope they catch him tonight. I hope those people they arrested are it. And if my sketch is wrong, I'll take the hit. But I had to help.
Thank you. So, I wasn't quick enough to get Cuomo. Talks to angels from the chat. So that was the lady that did from the Houston PD that 42 years she was a sketch artist. So that sketch has got to be pretty damn good. Talks to angels. No arrest. Nobody in custody anymore. And the sheriff has said nobody is clear. They could be arrested down the road per the news. Wow. As it's it's breaking, but when we came on, that was not the case. But realize this: they had probable cause against that house that enabled them to get a search warrant. So is it a potential that these people are they're still suspects, but they didn't have enough evidence to, and again, as I said, they were taken away. They were in custody. So technically, not just technically, they were under arrest, and then they would have to do a voided arrest report and let them go. Because if you don't, you can get sued because the police don't have the authority to arrest someone that didn't commit a crime. And if you arrest someone that didn't commit a crime, you can get sued. Mike, you know more about this than me.
Yeah, you have to be careful in this case. If they had probable cause and they took them into custody and they were held for a long time, like they were going to arrest them, they didn't appear obviously in initial appearance or anything like that before a judge. But you have to do the paperwork. You have to, as they say, noli prosequi. You have to noli the case and void the arrest, and therefore that will protect you. Now, it doesn't stop them from suing the police department. They can always sue the police department. But if you do your paperwork and you release these people in a reasonable manner, you're going to protect yourself. Interesting. I was just thinking, even though they released these people, they probably got a search warrant for their DNA. And just to make sure. So once you have them in custody, you can do other things, collect other evidence while they're in custody at the house or from them personally through a search warrant. Maybe draw some blood, that sort of thing that you need. So
like they would just do, and you're right, they could collect the DNA, but they would do what's called a buccal swab.
Yeah. Oh, right.
And they would just swab the inside of their mouth with a Q-tip and put it in a paper envelope because that's what doesn't degrade DNA, and then they could match it against this. So I'm sorry to hear that they had to cut them loose, and that doesn't mean they're out of the trick bag, as Phil would say. At least a gun, 8924. From my understanding, the Range Rover had plates, but they were covered up by law enforcement, maybe to keep any false information from circulating about the owner of the vehicle. At least a gun, you're 100% correct, right? Or having someone unauthorized run the plate and say, "Oh, this is so and so. He or she lives at this." That, believe me, unscrupulous people do that, and they want to be first. We first uncovered that, because we stole a plate number off the car. So now where are we now? I mean, so where are they in the investigation? Look, they have to be getting tips from all over the place, especially putting out that sketch yesterday. And we just heard from the lady who drew it. And people have to know who this guy is. They have to know. And then, there's been some sort of from what we hear, there's some battle between the FBI and the sheriff's office. And the sheriff's office, in name, is running this investigation. But this investigation has become more about DNA, forensic evidence, digital, really mastery that the FBI has over local law enforcement because they have the tools, they have the experts. So I would think that the FBI is more or less running this, but they don't want to step on the toes of the Sheriff Nanos, and he's the spokesperson. But one of the things we said from very early on in this investigation.
Sorry, I'm going to stop this. I've just found another thing that looks really interesting. It's the behaviour panel have done an analysis on the porch video from this case. So I reckon it's only a short one. We'll have a quick squiz at that. It's only 10 minutes, but they're very they're very clever. They all have their own special. If you haven't seen them before, they have their own unique qualifications and experiences and stuff. And yeah, they're very insightful. So have a quick squiz at that.
Nancy Guthrie's suspected kidnapper raises more questions than it answers. I just finished a news hit for News Nation, and we talk about everything from how smart this guy is to how smart he isn't. Now, what do you think the behavior cues in this video tell us? They tell us how smart he is. They tell us how smart he isn't. Personally, I think he's a moron. Talk about that in this news hit. Let's take a look.
I want to go back to that video and the images of this masked person seen in the archway of Nancy Guthrie's house. It is arguably the most important piece of evidence that we have seen so far. And now you have this new reporting from TMZ that says the FBI and local investigators are homing in on 3 specific items worn by this person: the gloves, the backpack, and the gun. Law enforcement sources say they're working to track down who may have bought those things. And they're also...
Actually, I was watching... The Devil's Advocate the other day, and they've got, as I said, a panel, and some of them are ex-CIA. One of them is NYPD. Again, they all come from their own personal experiences and backgrounds and expertise. And the NYPD was having a go at the actual sheath that he's got the gun in, because he said it looks like one from Walmart. It doesn't even match the actual gun. How true that is, I don't know, but...
Curious about the weapon, because TMZ claims that the holster appears to be polyester, which is typically used for a revolver, but the weapon looks like a semi-automatic handgun. Also, what is the way this person's dressed, the way they're carrying the weapon, the way they move?
The other thing they picked up was that he was wearing... the particular shoes he's wearing are like really mega fucking expensive, like super duper. And yet the rest of him was all just like Walmart shit.
What does that all tell us? Because it's all captured on tape. What does that reveal about who they are, how this crime may have been planned? That is where I bring in my 2 guests, okay? Scott Rouse has trained alongside the FBI, Secret Service, and U.S. military intelligence in behavior and body language. And Steve Wolf is a firearms expert, engineer, expert witness. Thank you both so much for coming on. Scott, I'll start with you. When you watch this video, what stands out to you about the person's behavior and body language?
What I'm looking for in a situation like this are things that are missing. So the first thing I ask myself is what's missing. When we see him walk up, he walks up slow. So his gait is very small. It's a medium to small gait. This lets us know there's no stress. He's not in a hurry. No. And his head goes down after the camera comes on, he gets to the porch, that head goes down. But that's not turtling.
He's that organized. He's brought his backpack with him. Do you think he would have brought maybe perhaps a spray can or a bit of tape put over the lens of the camera?
We turtle when we're afraid of something. We're getting ready to shoplift, we're hiding in the crowd, something like that. Our head comes down, our shoulders come up, something. That's called turtling, because our brain says, we need to hide. We need to get ourselves smaller than this. I think he ducks his head because he's afraid he's going to be recognized by the camera. Now, even though normal robbers don't have that fear of being recognized, for some reason, this guy's trying to hide his face as well with that thing. Then, this is a guy, this is a man. How do we know that? Because of the way he walks, the way he moves around. Women don't move like that. No, they don't. Then also, what's missing are threat checks. He's not doing threat checks. He's not looking around for trouble. He's not looking for passing cars, joggers, dog walkers. He doesn't look for threats outside of that porch. And the only time he looks for a threat is when he steps out and picks up those flowers or weeds or whatever they are, and he steps up to put them over the camera. Which brings us to how smart he isn't, because he's not a problem solver. If he'd thought ahead of time, he would have thought there might be a camera there, or he may have known there was a camera there. I need to bring a piece of duct tape to stick over that. So he didn't think ahead. So I'm under the impression he didn't think ahead about some other little things ahead of time that he didn't solve those problems. So there's probably a lot of stuff he left behind there as well. Plus the fact the backpack is full. That thing is full. So that could be a tarp. It could be extra clothes. Something he could change clothes when he gets in, so it doesn't look like the same person came as the same person leaving. There could be duct tape, zip ties. And since he's alone, and we know he's alone because he doesn't check anybody, doesn't nod or wave his hand at anybody out in the driveway or the yard or anything, or out in the street, he's going to have something to put the incapacitated person in.
Ah,
Well, I'll phrase it that way. It's
Right,
one thing if you throw somebody over your shoulder and you walk them out to the car, or if you drag them by their arms out of the car. But if you can wrap them in something,
and notice as he walks up, he attaches it like it's his dick. Yeah, I'll just check it's still there.
if you can wrap them in a tarp or a huge blanket, that looks different. You're pulling something to the car instead of a body.
That's so interesting. So you go to the idea of sophistication, planning, knowledge. Steve, I'll go to you. You noticed something unusual, right, about the way that this guy was carrying the gun in the holster. What is it?
Yeah, what I noticed is that he is carrying a holster which is designed to accommodate a large revolver, which some of you may have recognized from previous appearances here. And what he's got in there is what looks to be a small semi-automatic. And so if you look at this, is pretty much exactly what the shot looks like when we're looking at the security footage there. Holsters are designed to hold guns securely. This is not made for this, and therefore it would fall right out. And therefore that leads me to think that this is not someone who's accustomed to carrying a firearm. The gun and the holster don't match. And furthermore, he continues to touch the gun with his left hand. People who carry guns for a living or for personal protection routinely know exactly where their gun is. It's secure in the holster, and they don't feel the need to continually touch it to make sure that it's there. So this is indicating, very non-professional behavior with the firearm.
And just a quick follow-up on that. How quickly would he be able to retrieve it easily? Let's say, for example, if Nancy came to the door.
Exactly.
He could retrieve it very quickly if in fact it's a real gun. The way he's wearing it right in front like that, you couldn't drive a car like that. Nobody carries a gun right in front of their crotch like that. You carry a gun, off to on your strong side hip. So it looks like it's there for intimidation, for show, and not necessarily something that he intended to use.
Scott, back to you. Two things. One, your thoughts on the gloves. I know you had a thought about the gloves. And two, does it seem to you, after everything we're saying, this is not somebody who's a career criminal or professional, that there's a sloppy aspect to this?
Yeah, because let's go to that holster again, like what Steve's talking about. You can't drive with that. You can't run with that. You can't fight with it like that. You can't draw proficiently like that. You get out fairly quickly, but you can't. People usually gun enthusiasts, they don't have that happening, And if we look at his blink rate on this, we can see his blink rate when he gets close to the camera, because those bright lights in his eyes are his pupils. That's the light from the camera reflecting off his pupils. There's not a lot of blinking going on. This guy is super relaxed. There's no stress here. That's concerning. I don't think we're looking at a psychopath from the neurological standpoint, but the stress in a situation that should be stressful is very low. He's not worried about anything, which gives me the impression he's got information about that place or that situation, or something has been planned to make sure he's not worried. He's not worried. He doesn't look worried about anything to me at all.
He looks a lot like the drunk driver in the crash, right? Who's just not nervous, right? And it's not uncommon when people are going to do something that is fundamentally dangerous.
Let me ask you something. How do you feel knowing there are data brokers out there making billions and billions presented as a trade-off and unsanctioned? You're free, vulnerable. It sounds crazy. 2 pairs of gloves. Look how fat his fingers are. Look how fat this part of his hand is, and the ball part of his hand. There's too much going on there. It looks to me like 2 pairs of gloves.
And Steve, wearing gloves, carrying a firearm, what should we be thinking about?
Well, wearing 2 pairs of gloves would make it considerably more difficult to activate a firearm. Right. You've got to be able to get your finger into the trigger guard, and that small semi-automatic that he's got like that, it's really not very glove friendly. So I'm not under the impression that he intended to be able to use that firearm. Rather so much as to intimidate with it.
Yeah, this is an excellent analysis.
Now let's take a look at the full version of this video, and after that I got a question for you. All right. What did you see? How do you feel when you see that? How do you think he's feeling as he goes through this? Let me know in the comments because I'm going to read them. All right. If you have any questions about body language, just email me.
Interesting. What's that one? News Nation. What's on News Nation? Is it another update or? This is an hour ago.
Joining me now is Peter Malk. He lives close to the house where the SWAT operation in relation to the Guthrie investigation took place last night. News Nation was the only media outlet on the scene last night as this operation was being carried out in the beginning. Peter, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, incredible perspective that you're bringing us this morning. What happened last night?
That's the link that I just clicked on the link that you gave me. The News Nation one. Are you streaming to another? Yeah, yep. So you bring up a comment from someone that isn't in our chat. I mean, yes, I'm streaming to Tya's channel and Tanya's as well. Hello, Diamond in the Stinks. Hello, welcome. I'm still waiting. Still waiting for the girls. I don't know if I can wait that much longer. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Might have to touch base with them. Yeah, it is. It's late, and even if they came on now, I don't think it could last much longer. Yeah, no, I just I went to the first or the latest one, basically. That's all. Might as well finish watching it, and then we'll sign off, I think.
It was early in the evening. I think it was about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and we started getting some text messages from our neighbors and our kids saying that they couldn't get in our street. It was blocked off. A lot of police activity. And then we looked out our window at our front door, and we saw an amazing amount of police activity, lights. I went outside and I saw
This is only a quick one.
the SWAT team, bomb squad vehicle drive by my house. Just a lot of police presence all evening into the night.
How scary.
So it was pretty scary because we live in a very, very, very quiet neighborhood. It's very dark. As you've heard a lot of reports about the skies in Tucson, in the foothills, extremely dark and just very quiet. So
Did you
yeah,
know right away,
that's what
Peter? Did they tell you right away that this was related to the Nancy Guthrie investigation? Did you assume that?
Yeah, I assumed it. We put it together pretty quickly. I did ask the police officer, and he couldn't really elaborate on it, but we knew what was going on, especially when
Sure.
you saw the bomb squad vehicle
And I
drive
think
right by. Yeah.
I think that we have some footage that you shared with us. I don't know if we can put that up or if that's what we're
Yeah,
looking at.
that-
I think we're looking at Brian Enton's video feed that we had last
Yeah,
night, and then we've got here's from your
Mm-hmm.
perspective. I can't imagine walking out and seeing this. This is wild, Peter. What can you tell us about the neighborhood? You say that it's very quiet and it looks very nice behind you. I mean, you must be so surprised, you and all of
Yeah.
your neighbors, that your neighborhood would be caught up in a situation like this. You don't live, right next to Nancy Guthrie, but you're close by. What do
No.
you think happened?
No, we
here?
live about 2 miles away. We live 2 miles away. We live pretty close. We live in the area of Tucson that's considered the Catalina foothills, and I was just amazed at what was going on because it's literally in our backyard. For something like this to happen, it's just something that you see other places. You don't see it here, and it's really hit home. It's really close, and we just hope that this gets resolved. With this case. Like I've told other reporters, it's just, it's been going on for 2 weeks. Today's the second full week, the day of the second full week. So it's just been going on and on and on. And, the people in Tucson, it's a small community. People stick together. People watch out for each other, as most small communities do. So it's pretty tight around here.
Peter, I don't know if you can you tell us anything about this house that was raided last night, where we saw the SWAT operations and we saw a man and woman come out? I know it's kind of personal information, but is there anything that you could share?
It's a very, very lovely neighborhood, really nice, quiet street. It's a really nice house. We've never seen anything come out of that house. I think we do know maybe the person that lives there, and everyone keeps to themselves. So to hear this is like, it's just really, it's out of the ordinary, put it that way.
Yeah. So you're there right now. Daylight is there with you now. The sun has come up. Tell
Yes,
us what the
yes.
scene is like. Is all the SWAT activity gone? Are people out walking their dogs talking about
Everyone's
what
gone.
just happened?
Well, you wake up and it was raining last night. And when it rains, the next day it clears out and it's really cold right now. It's about 45 degrees, and there's nobody here. There's a few cars driving by, but all the police are gone. I thought I'd wake up and I'd see something here, but, they were probably here. I went to sleep around 12 o'clock and there was a lot of cops.
They still
here
show
last
up.
night.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and down.
Okay, thank you. They still show up on my end as wrenches. So I don't know what's going on there. I have no idea. No idea. As long as they're polished and ready for use, that's all that matters, really. All right, my lovelies, I'm going to call it a night. And no doubt I'll have to reschedule with the girls, possibly later on in the morning for me. I'll have to wait and see. So stay tuned. Yeah. Make sure your notifications are on, because you never know what's happening. All right. Thank you very much for joining us. Me. It was a bit of a rabbit hole, bit of this, bit of that. But yeah, we'll get some more updates soon. Don't you worry about that. All right, my lovelies. Mwah. Be good. Have a lovely Valentine's Day. I'm going to buy myself some roses, I think. Maybe cut them from the garden. Yeah. So, if you can't be good at it. Give me my wrench back. Say my name, bitch. Pull my hair. Sorry, I don't know. I digress. All right. Be good to your mothers. And hasta la vista, bitches. Bye-bye.
Whispers in the shadowed halls, the judge's gavel, justice stalls. Hands that should protect, they take, turn lives to ash, left hearts to break.
But in the silence, voices rise.